Well, today we are doing actually a kiln loading. We had a class last night, and the students made bell wind chimes. So the first thing I do when I'm going to load the kiln is to check the back sides or the bottoms of each piece to make sure that there is no glaze on it. Glaze on the bottom of the pieces where they're going to touch the kiln shelf will actually stick to the shelf. The next thing I need to do then is to decide what size items go in the kiln first. These little items right here are thermocouplers that measures the heat going into, or the measures the heat inside the kiln on the display. So when I decide what goes on the bottom, I have to put stilts in so that I don't break or bump this first thermocoupler on the bottom. So luckily, all the bells that we made in class were shorter than 4 inches. So I get a kiln post out to measure each of the pieces to make sure it's going to fit. And then it's kind of a game of Tetris. What can I fit in each layer so that it makes sense? Each piece cannot touch. Everything needs to be about the width of a quarter inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch between them. So otherwise they will stick together. So I can probably get one more little bell piece in here. And that might be it for the level. Now I'll have to get a kiln shelf that rests on the posts here and start the next level. Okay, so we got a second shelf started. 3-inch posts on that side, 4-inch posts on that side, so I can have different heights on this level. And once in a while, if I'm concerned that a glaze is runny and that it might stick to the kiln shelf, I'll put a piece sitting on a stilt. That way, if it does run more than I expected, it's sticking to the stilt and not to the kiln shelf, which is easier to get off than trying to get it off a kiln shelf. So I have a couple more small pieces to put in there and we'll start the next level. Okay, so the other thing I'm putting in my kiln are pyrometric cones. These little cones bend depending on the amount of heat in the kiln. So I'm putting them, 2 of them, one for a cone 6 and one for a cone 5. They will stay there throughout the firing, and when I open up the kiln in a couple of days, I'll be able to see if how much the cone bends. If it bends that amount, then I know I got to a perfect cone 5, which is what I'm aiming for. Okay, so I have all the pieces of the bell class except for the beads put in to the kiln. And so this is the final step, and it's probably going to take me a long time. These are how I fire my beads. I have these little rods and the bead, the bead goes onto the rod like that, and then the rod gets placed in those grooves. Now it's just a matter of spacing out, and hopefully I have enough room for, I think I counted like 45 beads that have to go in there. We'll see if we can do it. Well, I am very excited. I can't believe that I got 45 beads on the racks. That's just crazy. That's the most beads I've ever had in my kiln. And again, all the same rules apply. No 2 pieces can be touching, and they can't be touching the supports. The wire is okay, but they can't be touching each other or the kiln supports. So I am so happy. I don't really know if I could even fit one more in there. That's pretty close. So, all right, so the kiln is loaded, and I'm not going to start it till tomorrow morning. not concerned because it's not going to get to freezing temperature tonight and it's in the shed. So we will go ahead and close the lid. And tomorrow morning I will come out and we will be firing this. I'm excited.